Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Mike with Alpha Shark. It's Monday, the 17th of September, and this is a special webinar I'm doing for you guys. We don't usually do them on Monday nights. I had technical issues last Thursday, and I wanted to make sure we got this in. And so, guys, tonight I'm going to go off script, if that's okay with you guys, given what's going on here in the markets today and right now. Does that sound okay? I thought we'd just have kind of like a fireside chat tonight. What do you guys think? All right, a little bit different. Talk about what's going on here and what's to look at and how we should start looking at things. Good. Thanks, Frank. Perfect. This is interactive, so feel free to ask questions. Let's go everything done. All right. Welcome and do things. So let's just cut to it here. Let's go quickly to it right here. Obviously, I didn't take a trade today, guys. And this is the first day I haven't taken a trade in a while because to me the markets felt very off today. And what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about here is, trying to recognize when it's time to be cautious and when to know when to reduce risk, get short or get out of the way. And I could have gotten short today, right? I could have gone short into tonight and I didn't. But, what's the news? Everybody should be paying attention. What's the news that's hit the market tonight at this point? And we knew it was coming. We've been waiting for it now for over a week plus. The tariffs, right, Don? So President Trump announced he's doing 10% tariffs on $200 billion worth of goods tonight. Okay. And then he also announced that it automatically increases to 25% by the end of the year. So that was bigger than expected by Wall Street. Then on top of that, he said if China retaliates, he's going to put tariffs immediately on $67 billion of additional goods. So the market here is having a reaction. So let's just go to the ES here. All right. And you can see the instant reaction of the ES down, sideways, stair step down, right? And, this is textbook, guys. See the 8 EMA here on the 5-minute chart? You see how it's just riding it down? It's resistance right now. Can you guys see how this is working? This is textbook. When a stock gets weak, it's textbook. And right now they're looking to see how far it wants to go. So what's the next thing we need to watch for overnight? What are we expecting? All right. What's the next big piece of news that is going to drop here? Right, Robert. China response, right? Does anybody here think China's not going to respond? I'll tell you, quite frankly, I think they're going to respond in a heavy way. So I'm expecting a very big response from China. I am sure they already have something planned. I'm sure this is not catching them off guard too much. I'm sure they already have something planned. So the real question is we have to look at this is where do we go from here, right? So let's pull up the SPY, and here's your daily chart. And right now we're around 288. So going back to a 1-year chart on the SPY, right? Okay. Here was our January high, right? Here was our correction, our 12.5% correction to the 200-day. Came up, held the 200-day again, higher low on the 200-day, higher low didn't hit the 200-day, higher low, and the question is now, do we get another higher low here, right? Finally, we broke above, all right, this spot, put a new all-time high in, retested it right in here, which is bullish usually, but then we could not get back to make a new high, right? So what do we have here right now, setting up right now in the markets? They could weaken the yuan, right? They could do, they could sell bonds. They could dump some bonds if they want. There's a lot they can do here, guys. But what do we have right now when you look at this chart? Right? What's the first one thing that should stand out to everybody, right? A lower high, Frank. A lower high, right, Chris? A lower high. You had the right concept. I make that mistake all the time. It's not just you. I always get my verbiage confused, but I know what I'm looking at, right? So right now we have a lower high in the market. Right now the market is trading right around the 21 day on the SPY. So you're okay. I do that all the time too. So where do we go from here? If you see my chart here, I have a couple things already annotated, right? I have had these annotated, by the way, now for since we started selling off into here. So we filled short term. We filled this little gap, right? You guys can see this little gap that had been open right in here. Today we filled that gap, right? That was filled. That's done, right? So where do we go from here? The next spot is the 50 day, right? If you break below the 21 day and you break below, let's call it 185, let's just go here and get an exact number for you guys. So you can write this down today, right? 286.71. You break below 286.71, right? That opens the door for the price action to the 50 day, which is currently at 284.56. If the market really wants to get frothy, you see this mark here says 282.95. Anybody have an idea what that might be? Anybody? I would encourage you to go put this on. Nope. Raj, nice guess, but not your August low. But nice guess. August low is right here. Not resistance, Neil. Not a gap fill. There is a gap fill on this chart, but we'll come back to that in a second. It is a 3% pullback from the highs of 291.74. Why is that important, guys? And this is trying to teach you guys how to think, right? You're saying what's so big about a 3% pullback? Typically, the market does 3 to 5% pullbacks a year. You guys have been in a raging bull market for a while now. We haven't been getting that, but typically we do 3 to 4, or even 3 to 5% pullbacks a year, and typically we get 10% correction. So that represents 3% off the highs. Does that make sense? I don't see any yeses out there. So you guys following me here? Chris, you got it, right? Makes sense, right? So if we're going to get a corrective pullback of 3% off the highs, you want to know where that is, right? And if we hit this, what do you think the next thing I'll do is? As soon as we hit it, I'll put the 5% mark on there, right? So I'll know where that is as well. And I would encourage, so I've done it for you. You guys go put a marker on your chart, 282.95, right? So you know where it is because you know then where to look at. But who said that there's a gap fill? Richie, right? You said there's a gap fill? You're right. Right here. You guys see this gap fill in the middle of this? There's a gap to be filled here. There's an open gap. Good eye. So if it wants to, and what do we always say? All gaps get filled. Don, I'm not a fib guy. I know some people love them and some people are great at them. I just use pivot points, moving averages, and I look for stuff like that. But I don't have a problem with fibs. I'm just not a fib guy. But you could look at that too. If the market wants to, it's very likely on the day, if it comes to this point, it'll fill this gap and then before it comes back and revert back up to here. If it gets into this gap, it's likely to fill it. So you know that you may get a tail on the chart that comes down towards this 282 area. Right? So just keep that in mind there. All right, so this is where we could go to. This is not saying we're going to go there. This is saying where we could go to. Go here. Okay. So right now, look at what's going on too in the VIX. All right, VIX is up at 1368. Right, still low. So let me pull up a different chart here. I post charts on Saturdays. You guys follow me on private Twitter? On public Twitter, my public Twitter feed. I post a ton of stuff for you guys there. And I would encourage you guys to follow me, only because I post charts and everything else. I'm going to send you a link to everybody. You should follow me there. You get lots of stuff, lots of information. Usually on most Sundays, I post between 20 and 50 charts, depending upon the day, and I put them out there for you guys all to take a look at. Okay. So this is my chart on the VIX that I put out yesterday, and it's a telling chart, right? We have a descending wedge. First of all, every time we break out of the Bollinger Bands, we've been reverting, right? You see these blue circles, right? It shows that. But most importantly, we have this descending wedge that is coming down here into this area. So right now, the VIX is at 1368. We're not even to the top of this wedge. So despite as bad as this looks, we're not even close to the little pop we got about a week ago, right? We're not even close to it. Right? But you can see this. This is a descending wedge. At some point, this thing's going to run out of room to play. So the VIX here has to clear tomorrow roughly 1470 to get above this area and start to get some traction. Does that make sense? So that's something you should be watching for tomorrow. How is the VIX behaving? Do you want to know one of the reasons I didn't go short today? Very, very simply, the VIX was not really reacting a lot during the day today. In the initial salvo here into these sell-offs, the VIX was kind of sanguine, didn't really care about what was going on here in the markets, right? Look at the VIX, look at the SPY, wasn't acting like it cared. Then it got a little bit, frisky here, but came right back in. The VIX was kind of weird today. Never really gave an instance that there was a lot of fear out there. Okay, let's look at some sentiment. So sentiment is important. So first thing let's go to StockTwits. You guys know I post this stuff for you all the time. This is how I do it. I come out here. Here's your SPY, right? So you type your SPY in here, and you come down, and it's showing you sentiment's now down to 49.14%. We have not been this low in the last 3 months, right? 2 months, right? You can see this is a low area for us. So sentiment means that the market's getting bearish. Why do we like to look at sentiment? Anybody? What do we look at sentiment for? Do we look at sentiment as a reason for what? What are we looking for when we look at it? What for me I'm looking at is I'm looking for contrarian. No, Kevin, I'm looking for contrarian indications. That's right, Frank. Too many on one side of the boat. That's exactly it. Raj, contrarian. You guys got it, right? We're not looking for other people's opinion. We're looking for people getting either too bearish or too bullish. This market loves to smack around anybody that gets leaned when the market gets leaning to one way or the other, right? We see it all the time. It's been working now for the last couple of years. The market gets overly bulled up, they pull it. The market gets too bearish, they pop it back up and squeeze the shorts. It's nonstop. This is what this market loves to do. Okay, so sentiment's getting pretty bad there on the SPY. Let's look at the Qs, right? I gotta think the Qs are bad here, but we'll go see. Come on. Okay. I think StockTwits is having issues. All right, we'll come back. There we go. Finally updating. All right, sentiment's at 74. So despite the selling off in the NASDAQ, right, and the Qs names and the names underneath the covers, sentiment on the Qs remains very high up here at 74%, right? You guys can see that. They're still too bulled up, right? Retail investors still too bullish. And how about the IWM? 67%. So this is cooling off nicely, not really far down, but cooling off. By the way, you can do this for any symbol out there. You type the symbol in, they'll have one of these for you. All right, cool. So we like to look at that. So this market, while it's getting there, people are still really bulled up. That's what we're seeing here in this market, right? Despite the pulling back and the issues here, the market's pulled up. CNN Fear and Greed Index. Not the best indicator in the world, but something worth looking at. Again, this is free. It doesn't cost you any money, right? We all like free. Everybody loves free. So even right now, we're still 66% greed. We're in the greed zone, right? Despite the action the last couple of days. We've definitely cooled off. We were 73 the day before on Friday. A week ago, we were 56. But you can see we're kind of hanging here in the greed zone. Now, I have a couple proprietary things that I can't share with you guys, but I do have a couple other things that I do look at on a daily basis. So, one of them here is the put to call. This is the overall put to call reading. Can you explain what the real... What do you mean the real, Chris? You mean when you look at the... you mean the stock put? What it means is you're looking at which numbers? On the stock twits? You're seeing percentage of people who think the market are bullishly. They think the market's going up versus going down, or the stock or that symbol's going up or going down. So on the SPY, 49% of them are now saying the market's going down. On the are saying our sentiment is 49% bullish. So on the Qs, they were 73% bullish still. Does that make sense? Okay. This is the overall put to call. IWM was, I think, I'd closed it. Let's pull it back up. Nope, wrong one. Then again, just go to stock twits, guys. You can do this yourselves. Go to stock twits. You don't have to have an account, right? I'm not logged in right now. Type in IWM, and here it is at 67%. You got it. All right. So this is the overall put to call. What I like about this is the neutral zone between these two blue lines. When we're in the neutral zone, we're great. When we get below the neutral zone, that means the market's starting to get too bearish. When we get above the 1.175, the market is starting to get too bullish. That doesn't mean you're going to an instant reversal. It just tries to tell you where the overall put to call buying is going on that direction. So you can see here, we shot right back up last week, and now we're starting to come in. But even after today's action, what do you notice here about the put to call? Right? The put to call didn't come in very much today, did it? This market remained bulled up today. Did not want to give up. Did not want to give up the ghost here today. All right. And then I go to some oscillators. This is the NYMOT. This tracks the New York Stock Exchange. It's looking at breadth in the New York Stock Exchange. Right? Overall, when we are negative, right, it means that we don't have a lot of stocks making highs. Right? So right now we're at negative 66. We had a nice reading last week of negative 140. We've slowly drifted back up. The good news here is a deep dive is not real likely here, right? Usually when we're negative, when we're usually already negative and the market gets in trouble, it quickly gets itself down below that 200 line. This is where I look for a nice signal to go long. And when we get under 200 and we see the call buyers coming in, this is an area where I want to go long, right? That's down here, right? Look at the February reading we got. That was beautiful. Likewise, we start getting above 140, 150 up towards this 200 line. It's a place you want to be very, very careful, right? So right now we are already negative. This is a good area. We could use a little bit more, right? I'd like to see this get down like 160, 180 be a great spot. If we can get there, or even 200 be wonderful. But they're not giving us that this year. So I'm hedged, I'm not trying to look for that. The NYMOT tracks the NASDAQ, right? Look at this drop today on this thing to negative 88. This thing had been holding in. Look at that huge drop. So what is sentiment telling us here? We're starting to get a little bit bearish, right? but we have room. We can go further, right? Sentiment's not so bearish here that we should be looking for an immediate bounce. Not that we can't get one, but sentiment's not going to help us too much, is it? Does that make sense? Okay. So let's quickly go through a couple names here today and look at some stuff. So first of all, Google today, right now, after hours, is already down to 1155. Okay? Down here. This is my target area for Google right now is 1124. If we could actually get down or even a little higher, let's call this line here let's call it 1130. That would be a nice area to try to go long Google if it would give it to us. Apple is -2 already. Why is Apple -2? What's the fear for Apple? Right? Why is Apple getting hit hard? China. Right, Dan, right? They're worried. They're worried that China's going to really screw with their iPhones. 216. So I posted this over the weekend. What else is going on right now that's about to start happening in this market and is starting to happen even as we speak right here? Does anybody know? No, FOMC is not until the 28th. We got over a week yet, Frank. All right. This is kind of important. Apple's one of the bigger ones of this. What does Apple do big? What does Apple have always going on? What do they do big? Well, good. Yep, it's related to that, Manuel. Good. Go a little further. Nope. Forget quad witching. Buyback. Robert got it. So, if you guys did not know this, SEC requires companies to turn off their buybacks 5 weeks before earnings. Did you guys know that? Okay, Robert knew it. Thank you. Frank knew it. Good. If you didn't know. So all these companies that are doing huge buybacks right now, guess what's about to start happening here in the next week to two? Right? Because earnings are coming. So all the buybacks, which are putting a floor and helping these stocks out, are about to go down. So a lot of times we know that's exactly it. So while the market's pulling back here, buyback machines are shutting down. That's not a good combination, right? Now, one company's buyback is about to go in. Which one is it? This is a bonus question. They have earnings this week. Anybody? Micron, you got it, Babor. Micron, nope, Micron. Micron has a $9 billion buyback, or $8 billion, or whatever the heck it is, or 10, or whatever, that kicks in as soon as earnings are over. Earnings are Thursday. Okay? So, if earnings are decent and it doesn't sell off, look for this thing to start going up on Thursday. Now, why is it getting hit hard? Because it's already gotten hit by China, and the fear is that China's going to hit Micron again, right? So Micron here is already down pretty good tonight. Okay. So stocks are getting hit. Facebook just broke 159. It's in that 159 area. Micron's down. And some names started telling us to start being worried. So when this market here for the last week and a half, if you guys listen to me and some of the things I post and the videos I put up for free every so often, what's been bothering me through this stretch here? Does anybody know? We'll come to buy levels on Amazon if we get that far, Lou. We'll look at it in a minute, okay? Want to stick with the overall market theme before we go into individual names heavily. Volume sucked, James. You're right. Volume was a problem, but there was something else that was really bothering me through this stretch here. JP's got it. Buying a few companies. How many names were they playing over the last month? You could probably count them on two hands, not narrow breath, right? Start naming them. Come on, guys. What names have they been playing for the last 2 months? It's almost like a broken record. AMD, right? AMD, Amazon, Square, Apple until it broke, right? Roku, another good one, right? The pot stocks, right? Turley, Cron, CGC, etc., right? But there wasn't a lot of names, right? Breadth was horrible. They were playing a bunch of just small names, right? So this was worrisome because the market never broadened. And when we look at the SPY and you see this, you look around at sectors, the Finns, they wanted nothing to do with here, right? And we do. Somebody said FOMC. We have a rate increase next week, right? Expected, right? The Finns usually run into a rate increase. They can't get going here. Energy, one of the bigger sectors. These are two of the biggest sectors in the market. Cannot get going. Cannot wake up. Okay. Square today. Anybody see this ugly candle in Square? Right? Square had this beautiful, incredible move, right? Go out to a 1-year chart. Look at this, from 27 to 92 in a year. That's incredible, right? Huge. Pretty much ludicrous through this stretch. And what did it do? It went up to here, and then it started going sideways. And what did it hold every day through this stretch for about 2.5 weeks? What's my favorite fast-moving average, guys? 8. Dan's got it. 8 EMA, right? You could buy it off this thing every day through here. What did it do today? Hey, JP, you made money. Nice job. It broke it. And not only did it break it, what kind of candle did we get on this thing today? What kind of candle is that? It's a reversal. They got it. A bearish engulfing reversal candle. We traded above the previous high, reversed, and we engulfed the range, and we closed on the lows. You guys got it, right? This isn't a candle that typically leads to further downside action. Lou, maybe a bounce at the 21-day. See if we can get a reversal candle off of that. I agree. But we got to see it, right? You got to see it. What I did tell you today is, here, this is from my private Twitter feed. Pay service, guys. So just so you know, and I'm not trying to sell you guys tonight. So this is not about that. I'm sharing with you guys tonight. Okay? Here. What were they doing all day today? Here's what I'm calling out to people in my subscription. What are they seeing here? Right? Put buying. Nope. There's no call buying in Square today. Nothing but put buying today throughout the day. Right? Okay. Square's been getting a lot of call buying. So this one's in trouble. What's another name that absolutely looked horrible today? I know one of you guys wanted to look at this. Again, look at the move in this thing. This thing more than doubled from 931 to 2050 in less than a year. We'll come back to moves. Let's look at Amazon. Now, what happened with Amazon today? It gapped down, right? It gapped down this morning. So where was your clue that you need to be careful with Amazon? Okay. It broke to 21. Nope, I'm going to go back further. Forget this, right? It held the 21-day. This was a nice candle this day, right? You guys can all see this 9/11, this candle right here. And I was bullish on this going into Friday. What is this little candle on Thursday? What is that? What is that candle there? Very, very small, but what is it? On Thursday, it gave a small reversal candle. But no, it's a small it's a doji, but it's not really doji, it's a small reversal. We traded above and came back below, right? Very, very small reversal candle to Thursday. What did we do on Friday? We lost the 8-day on Friday. If you were playing short-term momentum, you should have been gone here. And today, nosebleed to the 50-day where it found some buyers this morning. Okay, so who was asking me, where's your first buy signal on Amazon? If the market holds and it holds in, maybe here, but we'll see. Bottom of the Bollinger Band right here is at 1861. Maybe it tries to hold there. If not, It gets harder, guys, right? This thing hasn't really had any type of corrective activity in a while. Here's your 100-day all the way down here, lines up with the previous year. So you see how this lines up here with the previous, this breakout level? So 1160, 1760 could be an area that would be interesting if the market really sells. Do you understand what I say if the market really sells, right? Because whatever's going on here tonight, we have a long way to go until we open tomorrow morning at 9:30, right? And how many times have we seen futures down big and then reverse around 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're green by morning? So, I always take that with a grain of salt. But you're asking me, that's an area we can go to, right? And what's Amazon doing here post market? Yeah, it's down, not bad. It still hasn't even breached the morning low. Okay. So Micron's tough, guys, right now. Micron has earnings this week. It got a bunch of point downgrades today. It tried to battle back, couldn't get going, and here it is down to 43 again. Right? So right now, Micron is back down into this area. It has earnings on Thursday, guys. All for me, Micron is right now is what? What would Micron be right here, right now? It's a scalp trade, right? It's a day trade for me. That's it. I don't play earnings, Lou. I just don't play earnings. I have been doing this for a while, and I have found earnings to be a complete and utter crapshoot no matter what you think it's going to do. And I've decided I stay on the sidelines. Bottom line. Thank you, Neil. 7-0 Chicago. Tomorrow, what would be an entry tomorrow? What I would look for on this, Gary, to be honest with you, I would do it on a 5-minute chart, and I would wait to see how we held in, where we get it. Do we find support at a level here, right? So, right now I'd look at around 42.50. If we banged off of 42.50 and they came running for it, they were buying calls on it, and there was volume coming in, I would try it off of there. Yep, high couldn't calls at the 45, JP. They're always this high volume on this. They love this name. They play tons and tons of options on this thing for earnings. That said, tomorrow's going to be at the day. You have to see how it sets up. It's hard for me to say what to do here, but that's an area that would definitely get my attention 50 cents below here. Obviously, 40 would be huge. I don't think we're going to see 40 tomorrow morning down 3. That would be if this was 40 in the morning, it would be a huge, huge in. Hey, Arthur, how are you? Huge, huge problem here. All right. So this name didn't hold in. We talked about Apple. Apple. Event day, right? Event day did much of nothing. Got a pop the day after, and then has been weak again ever since, and now its buyback's about to turn off and getting weak. No power, right? Topping candle here after a huge run, right? First thing here, it's starting to tell you it's tired. Lost the 8-day. Again, telling you it's tired, telling you to be careful, right? Netflix. I love Netflix. This name does not want to wake back up here. It's trying, but it can't. This day right here, you guys see this on the 13th? What did it give there on that day? I mean, this is textbooks, guys. You're looking for names and what they're doing. They're technically trading well. What did it do on the 13th? Reversal candle. Thank you, Frank. I'll come to I will absolutely go to AMD and NVIDIA, guys. Let's stick with where I'm at. Reversal candle. Follow through. Textbook, right? Textbook. Lost all the moving averages again except for the 200-day. So what are you looking for now? What would make you want to get back into Netflix? What would make you want to take this on again? Frank, Dan, Gary? No? How about a reversal candle? If it's technically trading well, I would look for a reversal candle, right? A reversal candle. Give me another reversal candle back up in the other direction. right? Like this one. Sell, sell, sell. Went below, reversed, and then this is a bullish engulfing candle, right? Give me some type of reversal candle here to get long on it. That's what I would look for. Or I'd look for the market's overall bounce because this has been one of the better names. All right. Let's look at some others. You guys want to look at AMD? Yes, AMD. What have they been doing? They've been buying the January. Let's take. Let me go take a look at it. Here, we got this up for a reason, right? So the action today at AMD was very, very mixed. As you can see, a lot of mixed flow on it. Where were they buying they're buying the 50s. Okay. There you go. October. Here you go. Right for you. See it right here? 17,000. This is from Friday. 17,000 October 50 calls. Thank you, Chris. I know you've killed AMD. 17,000. These are rolling into the 50 calls on AMD. Right? Rolling into it today. Right? Let's go here back to a 5-minute chart. How could you have played AMD today? AMD actually gave you trades today if you wanted to take them. I know some people did. So first of all, after it was down this morning, you got a big engulfing volume-based 5-minute candle, and it ran up, right? It ran up to 33. 33, by the way, guys, everybody should be looking at that as resistance, right? Why is 33 resistance? Right? Look at this area. Look at how many topping candles we have around this 33 area. Okay? So 33 on this name is resistance right now. Traded up, pull back. What did it do right here? This is my ATR trailing stop in the 5. Held it, bounced, put a higher high in, sold off, and then here it couldn't get through, and it told you it was tired. Right here, it told you it was done. All right? But AMD gave you stuff. Everybody else has sound, right? Just you, Arthur, I think. Rolling means they're probably selling calls they own, and they're taking cheaper ones further out in time and further out of the money. Kerry. Thanks. So let's go to a daily chart on AMD. Okay? Very, very simple here, guys. What is the market doing here, by the way, before we do this real quick? So we're still holding the lows so far. All right, very, very simple here. This thing has gotten beyond ludicrous, right? We all know this. That said, they don't want to give it up. I don't know that it's going to go. I don't know that it's going to go to 50 carry. I would think it's going to take some time. But right now they've been hiding in this name. Look at RSI. It's screaming hot. Got way up, but they're not giving it up, right? Even when we get a reversal candle, they came right back and have 2 inside days in a row on this thing. Right now, this is one name that they're just hiding in. They're just looking at. Look at the volume here. Since here, look at how high the volume has been the last bunch of days. Look at this indicator, CMF. This tracks institutional flow. Institutions are still holding this name. They're not selling it here. They're looking for more. That doesn't mean if the market sells off, this thing's going to hold up. But the one thing I can tell you is one thing I can tell you is that this is the one name that when the market's selling off, a lot of times it'll give you hints. It'll be holding up. It won't be selling off. So right now, if the market bounces tomorrow, what do you think this has for me? Chris, what is it for you? It has go-to status. Yep, it has go-to status, right? One of the first names I'm going to go, yep, I know you're going to do that. Going to look at is AMD. Has go-to status. All right. You want to know about NVIDIA? I love NVIDIA. What's bothering me about NVIDIA? Nice upgrade on Friday and not showing any power off of it. Now, the market's not helping here, but it can't quite get going here. It's kind of stuck in this rut. Yep, 2 inside days, you're right. It'll go either way big, right? So if the market really tanks tomorrow, maybe tomorrow's the day that AMD comes in. Yep. Well, then we'll come to, there's another one. We'll come back to it. So this one here today, NVIDIA, nothing going on here. I have an eye on it every day, but it's not showing any power yet, right? Above the 8-day, it's above all the moving averages. It's hard for me to get bearish on this name here. Holding in better than the rest of the chip makers, but nothing special. There was a name today in the chip space that did catch my attention. All right. Look at this today. All right, Intel. They were buying calls on it all day long. All right, the November 2nd 46 calls were one of their favorite ones all day long. They kept sweeping into it. This is a name that's been maligned, right? Beat up. What's this down here from 4 days ago? Oh, sounds back. Okay, you're good. So Arthur, sorry, I'm not following you. You said, can I? What's your question, Arthur? I might have missed it. Oh, the oscillators are all free. They're not real time though, right? So okay, Arthur, sorry about that. I didn't see your question. They're not real time. The one I use on the TOS is. You had a reversal candle. For me though, there's still no real trade here. Why is there no trade yet on Intel for me? Can't get above the 8-day yet. See how the 8-day is still resistance here? Can't get above it. All right? Not looking pretty. Needs to get above this to get my attention. Facebook's another name. Everybody keeps asking me, when's Facebook going to bounce? Right? Here's your earnings gap, right? Everybody remember this day? The black line is the 21-day. Since earnings, it has not been able to get above the 21-day, and right now it can't even get above the 8-day. This thing's incredibly weak. Not anything that is really on my radar high here from a long perspective, right? Showing no signs of wanting to move here. So if the market's weak, and you don't want to go short, what should you be doing here? What's the first thing you should do when the market shows signs of danger? What should you do? You should reduce what? Reduce risk, guys. Right? Reduce risk. You got it. You got it. Sorry, I moved up. Yes, I'm recording it. So reduce risk here. Okay? Reduce risk. You don't have to get short, but get out of the way, right? Getting out of the way is half the battle. Getting out of the way allows you to preserve what? Capital. Money. You got it, right? So when you get that reversal, you can go in and make money. Now, if you want to get short tomorrow, what should you be looking at? What are some things you can do tomorrow if you think the market's going to really tank? Where should you look? Okay, here's one people don't do very often, but I love it. Come back to Facebook. We'll come back to the NASDAQ. VXX. This thing can move. Okay, this is a play on the VIX, on volatility. You can play the VXX, which is a straight 1-for-1 on the VIX. This thing can move. Or you can play, what's the other one that everybody likes to play? UVXY. Okay. Another one is TVIX. Thank you, Lou. Another good one. Or there's the VX themselves, right? You can play UVXY is not moving. That's weird. Anyway, UVXY. These are day trading vehicles that you can play on the VIX. They're not meant to be held long periods of time, but you can play these both. Yeah, they did do it tonight, right? Thank you, Neil. I knew it was coming. I wasn't sure if it was again here. Right? So you can play these. You can take puts on the indexes, right? Especially here, Qs. weak, right? If the Qs break, they can go down further, right? Look at this trend line I've drawn here for you guys. This trend line here represents a long uptrend since April. What have we done here? Clean break of it again today. Here's your 50-day. We stopped right on the 50-day. Big spot for the Qs here. When was the last time we were below the 50-day? Right here. Back in May. Every time we've hit here, we've held it. This is a huge test tomorrow. You can sell call spreads, Lou, if that's what you like to do. Absolutely. Right? You can play names like Google or Amazon for shorts. And why I like to play them sometimes when you look at them is because how much was Amazon down today, guys? Right? From Friday's close. Where did we close on Friday? Roughly 1966. Here. We're down over 70, roughly 1770 points at one point. All right? So here's what you can do with Amazon if you think tomorrow is going to be a big sell day. Right? And, again, you don't need a lot of them. Options chain. Right? Because Amazon's expensive. We know that. It's outrageously expensive. The options are juiced. They're always really expensive. So, let's say we think we're going to get a $40 drop in Amazon tomorrow after the market opens. I'm not saying we're going to, right? I'm just using it as an example. This is 62. Thanks, Kamal. My math's off. But anyway, if we go so let's say we're trading roughly at 18.95 here. So let's just call it 50 for good luck. They're still outrageous for weeklies. Look at this. Look at the cost on these things. $40 out of the money. This thing's still $11. It's insane. Freaking insane, the prices on this thing. But you can buy one of these. And if you get a good move, you're going to double your money. Right? You don't want to play Amazon? Google will drop 20 to 30 on a good day. Okay? Go down to 20. Cheaper. You could buy one or two, a couple of these for about $3. Right? You can come down to stuff like this. How about a name that's moving big? You see this right here? This is the ATR. It tells you the average true range of a stock. This is Netflix. Netflix is moving an average of $12.50 a day. You guys see that? You want to play Netflix to the short tomorrow? You can go buy some 35s for $2 and look for a $12 move. You don't have to buy at the money if you think the market's going to really sell off. You can buy some cheaper stuff and let it come to you. Right? Make sense? So it's different ideas here as we go forward into the market. You don't have to be big either. The most important thing here, guys, is to get out of harm's way and wait for the market to give you a clear signal on what it wants to do. You can make a lot of money short. And I always tell you guys this. And why do shorts work so well in the market when it goes with you? Why are the shorts always make you more money faster? Does anybody know? James, thank you. Right? Chris, too, right? Steps down on the elevator, but most importantly, you get the benefit of elevated IV going in your direction. As IV goes up and the price goes down, the options get juiced twice. You get double juicing on the options, right? Typically, when a stock's going up, IV is not going up much. But when you have a fast move, the market makers and the VIX is going up, IV is going up. So when we're going down, IV is going up and everything going up. Selling begets more selling, right? All this stuff. So tomorrow, if you think, and again, implied volatility, Kerry. It's one of the big drivers of the option prices. So if you think tomorrow, if we open, you think we're going a lot lower, these are some ideas I'm trying to give you guys on what you can do. All right. Tomorrow for me, if we open red, if China doesn't retaliate tomorrow, I would look for a bounce in the morning, right? Some type of bounce. If China retaliates and the market doesn't like it, I would look for some type of further selling and a move down towards 282.95 in the next couple days. Now, what's going on this week, guys? So what are a couple things coming up that can change everything very quickly? Arthur, you're in my service. Let's talk about that on Thursday night. Deal? It depends upon the stock. So deltas, if it doesn't move fast, you need high delta. A name like Google or Netflix, you can get low delta because it'll move really quick towards you. Delta's not important on a name like Google and stuff like that. All right, so it depends on which one. Now, what is Friday, guys? No, not rates. OPEX. You got it. There you go. OPEX. OPEX week is typically a bullish end of the week as they want to move names around. So we'll have to see how this plays out here. Okay? So we have that coming. Next Friday we have the Fed, right? Next Wednesday we have the Fed announcement next Wednesday. And then we are 2 weeks away from bank earnings. So after next Friday being the 28th, we are 2 weeks away from bank earnings and the start of earnings season. So it would make sense to get the selling in here, right, and some type of pull in here and turn it around. Lou, I'm looking. If we get a red open tomorrow and the markets, everything looks okay, I'm looking for red to green. I'm with you. I'll be looking for some red to green trades tomorrow. Absolutely. My purpose tonight is not to try to get you guys scared. I'm trying to give you guys both sides tonight, and I hope I've done that well. Tried to give you guys, to lay it out for you, both ways to go and what to look for. Yep. Fake 'em and bake 'em, red to green, right? Tomorrow morning, if we get a nice red open here and they start coming for stuff, you go in. You just go in, you grab stuff tomorrow morning, right? The one thing this market's been doing is been buying weakness and selling strength for the last couple of weeks. If this holds, we're going to get a weak open. Now, again, it's not even 9 o'clock, guys. We have 12 and a half hours to the market opens. I will, after here, when I'm off with you guys now in a couple minutes, I will not look at the futures now until I wake up at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Okay? Because so much can happen. If Micron's forward outlook is good, maybe, Kerry. It really depends on how good it is here at this point. Intel's guidance was fantastic, and they've been sold off. So I don't know. And Monday Night Football, too. All right. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you guys liked this format tonight and it helped. I figured I'd veer from our normal thing and try to just help you guys out as we go into this week. And I'm not trying to sell you guys anything tonight. If you're interested in what I do, you can get my information off my public Twitter feed and see what I do out there. But in the meantime, follow me there. I put lots of stuff out there for free no matter what. And please just be careful. Take your time. Think things through. Okay? Through. And, market may need a couple days here to straighten this out. Everybody be safe. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining me, and I will catch you all. I think my next webinar is on the 29th on Saturday morning, and I look forward to doing that with you there, and we'll do some teaching on that one. All right? Good night, guys. Thank you very much for joining me.